Well, hello everybody and welcome to this Gothic art class. We are going to divide the class in two different parts, no? Or maybe three, I'm not sure, maybe two. Today we focus in Gothic art 13th century, and then we are going to study 14 and 15th century. I need to tell you that Gothic art lasted a lot in Spain. Probably is the most popular style because we have works during 13th century, 14th century, 15th century, and also different works in 16th century. In 16th century we have two cathedrals in the beginning of 16th century with Gothic style, one in Salamanca and the other one in Segovia. But we, as I told you, we are going to focus today in 13th century architecture and sculpture, and these are the things that we are to study today. There's a change, no, between Romanesque and Gothic. During Romanesque, for example, the wall is so important in churches, and we don't have a lot of light inside these places. But during Gothic, is completely the opposite. We have a lot of light, and a structure who allow to open different windows in the church, because they thought at this time that God is the light of the wall. No, so God is the light of the wall. We have a lot of light inside these churches. This is the structure. This one is the structure of a Gothic church or Gothic cathedral. As you can see, for example, there's a very big difference between the central aisle and the lateral aisles. No, there's a very big difference between one is higher than the others. That thing allow these people to open different windows. For example, this place is a place for windows, this place is a place for windows. Windows that are going to illuminate the central nave directly, because of this difference between central aisle and lateral aisles. As you can see, also the structure of this church is triangular. No, we have a triangular structure, so the distribution of the weight is gonna be in this triangle. No, the weight of the of this central aisle is going through this flying buttress to a buttress outside, no? And also the same, the distribution of the weight of the lateral aisles is going to the pillars or is going to the buttress we have outside. So buttress, flying buttress, is one of the elements that are going to define Gothic art. And then we have pinnacles. Do you remember? This one is a pinnacle. A pinnacle is to reinforce the buttress. Reinforce the buttress. Imagine we have a triangular distribution of weight. We have the wall. Now, with this triangular distribution, it seems that the wall can move to one part. Okay, that's because of the weight. So the idea of the pinnacle at the top of the buttress is that the buttress stay straight and don't move for this position. At this time they had a lot of fear that everything is gonna fall down, and they took a lot of protections. No, so there you have flying buttress, pinnacle, another pinnacle reinforcing the pillar, another pinnacle reinforcing the pillar. That's the idea. Okay, the typical art that they are going to use is a Gothic art. You can call like this Gothic art. No, it's like a pointed art. That's the idea. And the typical vault that we are going to find inside these places is this. It's a Gothic vault. You can call a Gothic vault. Some people said a rivet vault, rivet like my ribs. No, a rivet vault, who is the result of cross two pointed arches. If I cross two pointed arches and I put all these stones over it, and this is the final result. And this is the typical vault that we have in a Gothic church. And also during Romanesque, the figure of Jesus Christ is so important and appears a lot in different places, different churches, sculptures, representations, paints. Okay, during Gothic time, Virgin Mary is more important. It's more important, and we have a lot of places dedicated to Virgin Mary, a lot of main facades or tympanums with Virgin Mary as a principal character, you know, as a character of these places, in a lot of scenes, in a different scenes during the when Jesus Christ was a children, for example, during the Passion, after the Passion, or things like this. No, and also we will see how there's more communication between mother and son, no, because you remember during Romanesque there's no communication, and figure of Jesus seems like a mature man. He's a child, no, but seems like a mature, no. But in this one is a child, is playing with his mother, is smiling his mother, is touching his mother, and all these things, no. So that's another typical thing during this time. And also there's another protagonist or another principal character during Gothic time, who is the bishop of any city. You know, there's a bishop in a city, and this bishop is going to promote a new cathedral, a new building. This new cathedral, it's probably in a big square, you know, a square who is going to serve as a street market, and move the economy of the city. Move the economy because the construction, move the economy because this street market that we have in different places, in different places. Okay, let's go. Let's see examples of cathedrals 13th century. Remember, we need to make a difference between 13th century, 14th century, and 15th century during Gothic time. Now we are going to see 13th century. 13th century, for example, the Toledo Cathedral that you were in this place. Guys, you were in the Toledo Cathedral, and you have seen this cathedral with 5 aisles, and little chapels. You can see here we have little chapels around, and also different chapels in the head of the cathedral. There's another element that we need to talk during Gothic time, and it's this. Okay, we have this place to go around the main altar. Okay, this place going around the main altar, and also this one going around the main altar. The name of this place is the ambulatory. That's the place to turn around the main altar, and it's another typical thing during Gothic time. Okay, you can see 5 aisles, as we said. We have a transept. It's not pointed up in the plant of the building. And all place is covered with Gothic vaults. When you see these lines doesn't mean a barrel vault. We are in Gothic time, and in Gothic time, okay, this cross, this line who cross in the middle, these diagonal lines is a Gothic vault. As you can see, there's a cloister. There's a cloister in the Toledo Cathedral. Okay, this is the structure of the head. And the head of the cathedral with the 2 ambulatories, because we have 5 aisles. No, Toledo is a very big church. It's so important because it's the Catholic capital of Spain. You know, the Archbishop of Toledo probably is one of the most important figures in the Spanish church. In the Spanish church. And then look at this structure that we have. Look at this. Here we have the pointed arches, and in this part what we have is a window with stained glasses. No, remember there's a very big difference between the central aisle and lateral aisles, and we have the possibility to open windows in this one. No, so we have a body of windows covered with stained glasses who are going to add different colors, no, inside the cathedral, because stained glasses has different colors. It could be if we have light, no, we have red colors, green colors, blue colors. It depends, no, it depends inside the church, inside the cathedral. You can see also here the stained glasses, no, pointed arches, a body of windows with stained glasses in the Toledo Cathedral. Okay, another one is Burgos. Burgos is another cathedral from 13th century. You can see 3 aisles. We have a cloister too. Okay, all of them covered with Gothic vaults. We have reforms and different transformations in this cathedral. So you can see we have another sort of vaults, more star vaults from 15th century. But we need to focus in the Gothic vaults right now. Okay, there we have the ambulatory close to the main altar. Okay, and different chapels, majority of them from 15th century. Okay, but the main cathedral, the idea of the cathedral is this one. Look at the structure inside. We have these pointed arches. We have you remember this place that we saw in Santiago de Compostela, this place for the pilgrims? No, in the beginning, during Gothic time, it's not as big as these tribunes. No, it's not as big as in Romanesque time. It's more like a hall, like a place to walk. But we have this structure, no? The pointed arches, the tribunes, and a body of windows. Body of windows who are going to add, as we said, light, sometimes with different colors, into the cathedral or inside the cathedral, no? The Burgos Cathedral. This is what we have outside. Outside, there are people who say that this cathedral from 13th century, they have the form of a letter H. It's like a letter H. Outside you can see 2 big towers, and then this structure with a rosette here. You can see a rosette, this circular form, also with stained glasses who are going to give light to the inside the cathedral. Okay, my favorite cathedral, this is Leon. Leon is my favorite Gothic cathedral, 13th century, because probably it's the most French cathedral. You know, it's so close to another churches and cathedrals that we have in France in the beginning of Gothic time, with a lot of light inside, because you can see there's a very big windows. No, well, we have 3 aisles covered, all of them with Gothic vaults. We have different chapels there, transept, okay, the ambulatory, okay, around the main altar, and you can see, as I told you, we have different chapels in this cathedral. The chapels is something so typical from Castilla y León, you know, and also it does in the Cathedral of Sevilla. We have the opportunity to see these places, these chapels. Chapels are places for people who vote them, and they have their own service inside, or sometimes they are going to be buried inside these places. They paid for the chapel, and with this money is the beginning of the cathedral. The beginning of the cathedral is with the money that they own. Bueno, the money that they have, that they get, no, because they sold these chapels to private people. Okay, that's the idea. There's another cloister around, and you can see, look at the structure here, pointed arches, tribunes with windows too, and glasses, no, body of windows with stained glasses. Remember this idea that we have a very big difference between central aisle and lateral aisles, and in this space we open the tribunes, this one, and the windows, no, the body of windows. Okay, look at this. This is the structure outside of the cathedral in León, with this H letter form outside in the main facade. Look, this is the structure in the head of the cathedral. You can see the tribunes, the windows with the stained glasses, and the Gothic vaults who cover this place with 4 ribs that are gonna meet in the center. And then this is a rosette, probably this one, this is a rosette with something so typical also during Gothic time. Okay, Barcelona, no, we are not going to study Barcelona. This one is Burgos, and we go to sculpture. Burgos, this church, this cathedral that we study, this is one of the fachades. Imagine that we have, guys, look at the Burgos plant. This is the Burgos plant, no? Okay, one facade is here. This is one we are going to study, the first one, and the second one is this. Okay, there's another facade, but we miss it. We miss it. We don't have it. Okay, that's the idea. So the first one, la portada del Sarmental, this one, Sarmental entrance. Sarmental entrance. Burgos is a city in St. James Way, so we have probably the same subject as we have in Santiago because of that. And you remember the subject in Santiago de Compostela is the final judgment, the second coming, or a Majestas Domini. All these things. So this is what we have here: figure of Jesus who is blessing with the book of Revelation in the other hand, and the figure of the Gospels around the figure of Jesus. Okay, the Gospels with animal form, eagle, lion, ox, and angel, and also human form, because we have this human form, and they are working, they are writing the Gospels, writing the Gospel. That's the idea. Look at this: 4 people working, and also the animal figures, no, and the book of Revelation. This is the bishop who founded, who decided to build the Cathedral of Toledo, and appear here in the mullion. You remember the mullion, that's the name of this place, who divide the main facade into different parts. As you can see, the difference between Romanesque and Gothic is that we have a pointed arch, a pointed arch instead of a middle point arch in these tympanums, in the reliefs that we have in these tympanums. Okay, and this is the other entrance in front of the other one. This is the coroneria entrance with a very similar subject. Very similar subject, because we have another time. Again, if you want it, the final judgment, second coming, na Majestas Domini. This is the figure of Jesus Christ, who is showing the bones, as in Santiago de Compostela, showing the cuts to the people who wanna see it, with 2 figures so close to him. One is Virgin Mary, the other one is John the Evangelist. It's John the Evangelist because it's not bird. There's no bird in this part, because John was so young. That's the reason. They are saying or asking Jesus not to be hard with the people, and that's the idea. And we have angels who are holding different elements who appear in the Passion. For example, this one is a spear, this one is a column, this one is a cross. No, angels with different elements from the Passion, similar as we saw in Santiago de Compostela. And then in this part, what we have is divided heaven. You can see everything is in order. Hell, most there's disorder, no? More disorder than in heaven. More disorder than in heaven. Okay, there you have the facade with different sculptures of apostles and saints, and then the figure of Jesus, Virgin Mary, John the Evangelist, heaven and hell, as we said. Okay, another place that I want to study in Burgos is the entrance to the cloister. Okay, let's go to the plant and we can see again this one. Look at this, guys. This is the cathedral in Burgos, and this is the cloister. This is the entrance to the cloister. In this part, in this place, we have different sculptures that we are going to study. No, so the one we are going to study is this. Okay, and we have detail of these sculptures here in this part. You can see we have Gabriel, is the angel. This subject is the Annunciation. Is the Annunciation. Gabriel is asking Virgin Mary if she wanted to be Mother's God. That's the moment. So the angel appear, and the Virgin, as you can see, is holding different elements. Okay, with this hand, you can see the right hand is in this position. It's in this position because it's a little bit scared. That's the meaning of this. It's a little bit scared. Imagine, guys, that you are in your room, you are working in your room, and at this moment appear an angel in front of you. Okay, I'm gonna be scared because of that, and because of that situation. That's what happened with the Virgin, with the Virgin who is scared about this situation. In another paints, sculptures, we have the Virgin in this position. In this position means that she accepts. She accepts. She said yes, yes. But in this one, we have this position because it's a little bit scared because of the angel who appeared in front of her to ask about this situation. In the other hand, is holding a book. A book is an important detail too, because a book is because Mary knew how to read and how to write 2,000 years ago for a woman at this time. No, so it's strange. That means that the Virgin Mary is a cult person. It's a cult person who is so important. It's an important detail in my opinion. And guys, that's one interesting thing that you can do to know that this is an sculpture from 13th century, and look at the folds that we have in the dress of the Virgin and Angel. Look at this, guys. It seems like a U, no? Like this letter, like this one. Look at this because it's so obvious. This one, this one, this one. Okay. This letter is the folds in letter U is something typical from Gothic time, 13th century. 13th century. Okay, we are in Castilla y León. There we have castles and lions. No, the city of Burgos is in Castilla y León, so castles and lions. As you can see, it's painted. No, you can see the colors. Figures were painted. We missed part of these colors, but figures were painted in the beginning. So the angel and the Virgin Mary, position of the hand, book, are important details in this entrance to the cloister. Remember that we are seeing a detail of this part of the entrance in the Burgos Cathedral. In the Burgos Cathedral. Okay, this one is León. León is this is the main entrance of León. Typical subjects that we have seen: Jesus Christ, showing the cats, different angels holding elements of the Passion, figure of the Virgin, figure of John the Evangelist, John the Evangelist close to Jesus, heaven, okay, guys, heaven, and hell. Look at hell with a lot of disorder, heaven with more order. Okay, and then I want to talk about this figure who appeared in the mullion, who is the White Virgin, and the White Virgin in the León Cathedral. And the León Cathedral, you can see the face here, and dividing the entrance into different parts. No, in the mullion, this is what we have. Look at the folds, probably with this U letter that we have talked, because it's 13th century. Figure is smiling a little bit, and also figure of Jesus is smiling, and they try to communicate. No, it's not in front of us, it's a little bit turned to his mother, the figure of Jesus Christ. Okay, bueno, another sense in León. This is not important, guys, you don't need to study this. This is the way that the Virgin Mary is gonna die. She went to bed. She went to bed, she slept, and she died without pain. That's the idea. No, so here we have the figure of Mary surrounded by the different apostles, and in this part what we have is different essence related with the life of Virgin Mary. No, for example, the three wise men, 1, 2, 3 wise men, the escape. I don't know in English exactly. They went to Egypt when Jesus Christ was a child, the killing of the innocents in these parts. Okay, and another sense in this one. Well, you don't need to know about this facade, which is in León. Also is another entrance in the León Cathedral. And there you can see, for example, a detail of the figure of Virgin Mary, and also the coronation of the Virgin as when she arrived in heaven. No, this is another door in the Leon. We have 3 different doors in Leon Cathedral. You don't need to know. The only one you need to know is this. Is the main entrance, who is another Majestas Domini. Okay, and also we need to talk, or I want to talk about this White Virgin in the Leon Cathedral. Maybe you remember you saw this Virgin when you were in Toledo. Is in the choir, this figure in the choir of the Toledo Cathedral, connects very well with this idea that I told you about the communication between mother and child, no? Because you can see they were playing, no? They were playing, mother is touching the chest of the child, child is touching the chin of his mother, who is smiling, and you can see he's looking at his child with her eyes, okay, it's difficult to see the folds here, but we have similar folds with this U letter that I told you. This is the White Virgin in the Toledo Cathedral, and talking about this idea of communication. And also, we are going to finish today with this figure of Jesus Christ, because we study in class, you remember, that the figure of Jesus Christ crucified during 12th century, during Romanesque time, and I told you that there's an evolution who is going to suffer this subject during Gothic and then Renaissance. Gothic is going to last a lot of time, as I told you. Difference between a Romanesque and a Gothic figure. You remember the skit, for example, is over the knee, over the knee. During Romanesque time is is covering the knee. We can see who is covering the knee. So this one is over the knee. Figure is death. You can see. Jesus died because we have this wound, we have this cut in this part of the body, and that's information that this figure is not alive. We have 3 nails. 3 nails. You remember 1, 2, 3 nails instead of 4. We don't have any support. We don't have any support. Can you see here, for example, the skull of Adam? You remember, because we talk about this idea in another class, and look at the muscles, for example, in the arms of this figure, because it's suffering a lot, because there's no support over the feet, no? So that's it. A detail with a cut in this part of the body. Figure, remember, is death. During suffering more during Gothic than during Romanesque. It's being more realistic, trying to connect better with people. That's the idea. Okay, we are going to finish here. As I told you, we have seen 13th century architecture and sculpture, and then in another class, in another video, we are going to study 14th and 15th century buildings during Gothic time. Okay, questions or things that you don't understand, send me an email or send me a message via Schoology. Okay, guys, I'll see you in another class.